greedy Republican morons want to repeal the Clean Air Act. Good business. Way to go. Which really would affect the state of California. There's an article I'm referring to that was in the Los Angeles Times. The link is below. So right now California has like the strictest regulations of like cars and trucks and stuff like that. And so much so that, you know, countries like China and India that have serious, serious smog problems have come to California and said, how do we get what you have? And this push by Republicans now to roll back parts of the Clean Air Act would affect California more than any other state. The House last month passed a bill fiercely opposed by doctors and public health groups. How do you, when doctors say this is bad for health, doctors are saying this, you still want to push forward with the law. I got it. One of the groups, the American Lung Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics, that would delay for years new anti-pollution standards aimed at ultimately preventing 160,000 childhood asthma attacks and as many as 220 premature deaths in California each year. So you don't want to prevent asthma or premature deaths in children. You don't want to, just so you can make more money, because that's what this is all about. The Trump administration already tried using regulatory authority to put the standards on hold for a year, but walked back that action Wednesday after California and 14 states filed suit against the delay. So states have to sue the Trump administration, the federal government, because California doesn't want your kids to get asthma, but the federal government does. The bill advancing in Congress would go much further, permanently upending the way restrictions are imposed on the ozone and small particulate matter that make up smog. No longer would regulators base decisions solely on scientific findings about what level of smog is safe to breathe. Yeah, science. The potential cost to business would be, for the first time, loom large in settling limits and ultimately guide such things as when people with breathing problems are warned to stay indoors. It would be disastrous to do this, said Jared Bloomfield, former regional director of the Federal Environmental Protection Agency for California and other western states. The Clean Air Act has been one of the most successful and revered public health measures taken anywhere on the planet. Everyone from China to India to European nations came to my office and said, how do we achieve these kinds of gains? This all originated in Los Angeles at a time the air was so bad it led to the creation of the EPA. That's what happened. The smog got so bad in Los Angeles in the 70s. I mean, it was brutal. And got so bad in the 70s and 80s, they had to create the EPA. I believe Nixon created the EPA. So now they want to get rid of this. And it's HR 806, which would weaken the air quality standards, now motivating federal action. HR 806, that's the bill. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, it's not unbelievable, actually. Trump filled his cabinet with climate change deniers, and this is what happens when the Democratic Party moves to the center, becomes basically pro-choice Republicans, and offers no real resistance, no real solution. They could have had a Green New Deal. We could have put millions of Americans back to work, and that's what it's going to have to take to beat this. And to listen to in Hillary's book and Democrats and everybody, they're blaming Jill Stein. Bill Maher blamed Jill Stein, which is like, oh, let's blame World War II on Belgium. The Democrats were an actual party of environmentalists. Obama had some environmental laws, but they weren't great. And meanwhile, he took us from 2 wars to 7. I'm so mad at the Democratic Party because this is what's happening. This is what is allowed to happen, right? They blamed Ralph Nader in 2000. We could have had Al Gore as president, but even Al Gore didn't want to challenge it. Even he buckled, They blamed Ralph Nader that Al Gore ran a shitty campaign. Hillary Clinton ran a shitty campaign. It's not Jill Stein's fault. And now, as a result, we might have 160,000 more kids with asthma. Sound good? So it's an interesting article, and it's something to pay attention to. HR 806, vote it down. Tell your representatives no. Do not weaken the Clean Air Act. Keep the Clean Air Act, and and if you have a child and talk about asthma or whatever, give your personal story to your representative. That's what works. That's how the Tea Party did it. I'm not saying be crazy wingnuts like the Tea Party, but the Tea Party didn't take online petitions. They went to their representatives. Because if I'm in, California and I send an email to a senator in Texas or Ohio or whatever, they don't care. They only care about me because I vote in whoever votes for them. So it's another reason to get the corporate Democrats out of there, because they'll just keep losing. They would rather lose to Republicans than let progressives get in there. It's why we need real progressives to get in there, so this shit doesn't happen.